said, if you have a dream and you have a goal, don't let anybody get in the way. Hey guys, welcome to yet another summative episode on the African Playbook Network. We are wrapping up our summary of the My Story in My Own Words Season 1 episodes. We've talked about different lessons that we've learned, and I think in this episode, we're going to talk about the life advice and some of the advice that our guests have shared with us. Or some of the advice that we could have even picked up from the interview. And I think if we're jumping straight into the thick of things, I'll go back to episode 6 with Shafika Isaacs. She mentioned something which I myself took very much to, and it was learning to let go. And that's a theme that when you listen to the stories of our guests, you get a picture of it. You get an understanding of, when Mandla transitioned from Rhodes University, moving out to the UWC, that idea also came about because in his own words, he does say that he felt like a fish out of the water. And, when you also start listening to Ongi transition from coming back from the States and moving back to South Africa, that ideology of learning to let go is also something, because they are people that weren't leaving broken systems or being fired, but they just took that idea and time to say, this might be the end of the road, or as far as I can take this particular role, and it's time to find a new challenge. So learning to let go is a very important first point that I took out of episode 6 with Shafika Isaacs. Just have a listen here.
Again, I think I've always been the kind of person that was, I think the term is good with goodbyes. I can appreciate something when it's there, and if it needs to go, if I need to move on, we move on. And I think it was just time, and I had all these amazing new skills, and the world was different. I mean, in the time that I was away, for example, digital marketing took off. And I remember the sense of satisfaction I got when I got my little business, my little events business onto page 1 of Google, for example. So I left that and went back into the working world with all of these new skills, and landed the job at Direct Access, which then obviously again pulled me to sport from day 1.
And so if we then jump into the second lesson, I think I'll take it all the way back to episode 2 as well, with Mr. Mandla Kakaye, the director of sports from UWC. And he makes mention of something very important, where he says it's important for one to know when to compete and when to collaborate, because it's not always about fighting with each other. One of the ways that we as people are going to improve, and one of the ways that we can learn from people, is also collaborating. yes, he makes mention of his university collaborating with other universities to ensure that they share skills. But at the end of the day, yes, they're still going to go out onto the field and compete amongst the two universities. And that's a very important point, especially if we are going to look into developing the sports industry in this country. Learning learning to know when to compete and when to collaborate is going to be a very critical thing for the South African sports industry.
The networks we have with coaches in different provinces. Again, it was deliberate to us to say, no, let's have these relationships with coaches so that when we need players, we get a call from a coach from up north saying, no, there's a good player here. You need to come and have a look at it. And we don't really go out there and recruit. People are recruiting for us because they see that what we are doing here is unique to UWC, and that is what makes UWC what it is.
And the third point then comes from Ongeziwe Mali, South African women's hockey player. And she makes mention of this more towards the end of the episode. And this is what she says. The lesson that we took is everything will align if you put your mind to it and you decide to go get what you want. And I think that is a very critical thing. If you're going to doubt yourself, if you're going to procrastinate working towards your dream, they might not work out. But if you tell yourself and you have the confidence and you just snuckle in and just get the work done, definitely things will be bound to happen, and people along the way will also notice, listen, this guy's doing something, this girl is doing something that I think I may be able to help you. Some may help you in terms of advice, some may push you in the right direction, some may even nudge someone else to have a look at what you're doing, and some other things may unlock along the way. She makes mention of this in this reel. Just have a look at this.
I'll definitely say that, and that like whatever you put your mind to, uzayifumana. Eventually, like regardless of how difficult the road is, the journey is meant to be there to be, to learn from and to grasp izinto that can help you in the future. But at the end of the day, like I believe that you will achieve if you work for it.
And the fourth point then comes from Bongi Mbayeka, the very first episode on the African Playbook Network. And she says, focus on what you need to do and block out the noise, block out what everybody else is saying. Just focus on the work that you need to do and make sure you get it done to the best of your ability. Have a listen to this.
Guys, work hard, guys. Work hard. Nothing worth having comes easy. When they say it, and it's really true. Work hard and just keep your focus. Sometimes your reward may come within 5 months, sometimes it may come within 5 years. It's also important to remember why you are doing it. So if you are doing it for the glory, you are doing it for, as I said, to have people look at you, you be the spectacle, then it's definitely not gonna work. It's gonna break you because you are expecting things to happen. You are expecting this glory from people. Whereas if you're doing something because it's something that you love, you don't even feel like you doing this. For the longest time, my family would be like, this netball broke your leg. But the first opportunity you had, you were back on court. This netball hasn't been paying you. You've been spending the money you don't have, taking taxis to this match, to go coach these kids, to do this. But like this was like a few years back now, because before I got established. And I'm like, guys, I love it. For me, I don't even feel like. And they're like, this netball is robbing you. I'm like, it must keep on robbing me. It's fine. I enjoy being robbed by netball. So just choose what you love, work hard at it, and do it because it's what you want to do. And as usual, keep your head down and just do what you need to do.
And yeah, the fifth point then comes from Uputmonde Zondeki, former Proteas fast bowler. And he says, don't take things for granted. And he makes mention of this.
Thing that I would say is probably don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
And that goes beyond just sport. I think just don't take things that you enjoy or the things that, especially cricket, because like sports is a very short part of your life in terms of the actual, when you're playing time, and you learn a lot of lessons. You make a lot of friends, or you make some friends, some people. So yeah, I think just enjoy it, but don't take it for granted.
And I think the last point in closing off and summarizing this episode, this one comes from AJ Spearingshoek, who's the South African women's indoor hockey coach. He says his piece of advice at the end of his episode, he actually says, if you have a goal or a dream, don't let anybody get in the way of you achieving that.
He said, if you have a dream and you have a goal, don't let anybody get in the way, because people are going to say so many different things. And it sounds cliche, but people are going to say so many different things. Don't do this. You can't do that. It's not possible. But a lot of people have so many big dreams. Khalid Mbaka said to me, we just had a chat. She made a debut in Malaysia. She's playing in the series. And she said it was an absolute dream of hers to be part of this. She sat there as a young kid, 13 or 14 years old, watching us. And I think she said she told her mom and her dad, I want to play there one day. She's about to. She's a couple of hours away from playing. And so for those young players that don't let people tell you. But I will say this, that try and find somebody that can help you along that journey. There's always people willing to help. And even if it's your parents, just go to them and say, listen, this is what I want to do. Help me do it. And I know there aren't maybe parents around for some people, but find that one person that can be that mentor and that can give that advice, especially from a young player.
And this one basically summarizes some of the points that we've made mention of so perfectly in saying, yes, things will align. You need to know when to compete and when to collaborate. And you also need to ensure that you focus on what needs to get done. Focus on what you need to get done. Don't let anybody get in the way, and go out there and follow your dreams, achieve what you need to do, get what you need to do it to the best of your ability, and everything else should, as Ongi says, everything else will align. Thank you very much, guys, for watching yet another episode. We really appreciate you guys and the support that you've shown us over the past 6 episodes, the first season of My Story in My Own Words. Season 2 is coming, and it is something very, very special. We've got a few special things lined up for you. So keep your eyes locked in. Click the notification bell so that you get the first episode of season 2. It's coming. Click the notification down there. Subscribe. Leave the comment. Thank you very much. See you guys soon.